My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And today, we're back with one of these episode styles we do, where we all watch the first 2 episodes of a new drama, and we give our, first impressions and then our predictions on where it's gonna go. And there was one drama that started this past week that there were a few things about it that really made it, definitely one that we would have probably checked out anyway.
Just give a second glance too.
Yeah. And that is Taekyeon's new vampire comedy, Heartbeat, which is airing on Prime Video, which was a surprise to me. Listen, there's only a few that are on Prime, so every time there is one on Prime, I was like, oh, I have
one
this.
thing. One little tiny critique I do have of Prime Video is their search is kind of tricky.
It's terrible.
So, I was starting to type in Heartbeat, and it suggested to me Heartbeat K-drama. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's try that. And then it was like, no, that's not a thing. I was like...
Then why would you suggest it?
Don't suggest it to me if you're not going to lead me to what I need. And so then I took out the K-drama part, and then it was like, oh, you meant this? It's like, yes, why didn't that show up with your suggested search of Heartbeat K-drama? I don't know, but of course that's through Roku, so I don't know about if it's different on the browser.
Online it's exactly the same.
I didn't have to search for it because it already knew that I wanted to watch it. I rarely go into my Prime app because I really don't watch anything but the K-dramas that arrive on Prime and Good Omens, obviously, because come on. But I opened it up and it was like, you want Heartbeat? You want the new K-drama?
Mine doesn't do that.
Here you go.
Yeah, mine hid it from me, and I even have other K-dramas I've watched.
Different, it goes by channel, so it's just shows you channel, and then whatever was recently uploaded. It never suggests.
Well, things. It was in mine. It just was here you go. I literally just
wow.
opened Prime and it was Heartbeat. And I was like, Heartbeat, I'll take it. No problem.
Yes, thank you. That.
I do love that Prime, unlike a Netflix, it's not very good at remembering what you've seen, so it'll continuously, for me anyway, suggest things that I've completed. It's always yo, you want to watch Wheel of Time? And I'm like, already did, friend. I can't when the next season comes out.
Yeah.
But.
Well, also, I don't appreciate for instance, Queen In Hyun's Man.
Mm-hmm.
It exists with 2 different titles on Prime Video.
Of course.
And actually, I don't think either actually exist on Prime Video right now. I think it only exists on Tubi at the moment.
Because it probably has all the metadata from Drama Fever, because Drama Fever was attached to Amazon for a while as one of the channels. I bet you it still has that.
Because they have the whole Queen In Hyun's Man, and then it's also called Queen and I. So they have 2 separate listings, and so it looks like they both exist. And then if you click, you have to click way into it for it to be psych, this is not a thing anymore. It's
I hate when you go to
then
it
how
and
about
it's,
you not have the listing? Why fake me out?
Yeah, you know where I'm. I mean, you kind of know. You think I'm in another place, but because it's my parents' account. But it's still in the United States. So therefore, you should just suggest me things that I can watch, at least in their state.
So should we highlight the things about this drama that we, of course, were of course we're going to check it out, because some people don't know us as well.
Number one, tech.
Number one, it stars Taekyeon, and if something stars Taekyeon, my eyeballs are gonna look at it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna watch
it's gonna happen.
I don't think I've ever seen him in a role I didn't enjoy him in.
Actually, that's true. Even in shows that I don't like,
he's great.
I like his role.
He's enjoyable.
Or he does a good role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's
vampires, obviously.
Vampires.
Vampires.
Yeah.
I mean,
say less.
I mean, I stopped at that. That was all I needed.
Well, and then so that was a really easy sell in general, but then also there was promotional stuff they even used 2 PM's heart, like
They did.
2 PM's heartbeat. Like, really? Like, wow, you're really selling it. We didn't need it to be sold, but like, yes.
And my favorite thing is Tech was he did an interview and he was like, I actually didn't think about that song when I did it. I thought about this other song, and I'm like, of course you did. Of course.
Like, why would you? You know? Incredible. And, you know, there's not enough vampire stuff. I feel like they really haven't plumbed the
there
depth
really
of
isn't.
vampires as deeply as they could in K-dramas.
Like, honestly, if you put all of the vampire stuff in the in the last 5 to 10 years, 10 years is stretching it, 5 to 8 years, 5 to 7 years, even more recent stuff, it's kind of like then you get into web dramas.
Mm-hmm.
Like the more recent, it's like here's a few. It's essentially vampire light web dramas is usually what you get. It's like no, like more full length vampires. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, like that one last year.
I don't know.
There was that web one last year, the Blood Sisters or something, and it was so good too. And it was like, why are there not 16 full episodes of this? Because it's so good. Like,
I feel like vampires haven't like had their heyday in Korea yet. Like they'll give us the occasional vampire. We'll get one, and then it'll just be like years in between the next one.
Yeah, like it was kind of like you get the ones that were a few years back. Like you kind of had a small era of like the Vampire Detective, and then like the Josian era type vampire stuff.
Scholar Who Walks the Night. Yeah,
Scholar Who Walks the Night and stuff. And then it was like, well, you got your vampires.
We're done now.
That's all you get. It's like
zombies now. Zombies are news. Yeah. Zombies are hot. Zombies we must have.
They really like zombies.
We do love a good zombie, okay? Don't get us wrong.
But like, vampires don't seem like they wouldn't be a thing. Like a thing that people like.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some good stuff. Like, the movie Thirst is incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Yeah.
But, listen, they give us so few that it's just like, all right, we're in. And then the fact that this is clearly, now, upon watching the first 2 episodes, a campy comedy? Say less! I love campy shit.
They had me at the opening credits, like the opening credit roll, the song and the way it's done. Yeah. It is like you are transported back into like a 60s supernatural sitcom. Yeah. It's like Bewitched, it's I Dream of Jeannie, like it's exactly, and you're like, okay,
telling you the
this
vibe
is what
that
I'm
you're
getting.
gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what you're gonna get.
Of course they have like, you know, then they immediately cut to like tense action scene in the Joseph there, and then as soon as that's over, it's like, just kidding, don't listen. That's just to keep, keep you going plot wise. We just want to give you a himbo. All right.
Well, so I want to talk about this himbo for a second. This character. What I appreciate out of the gate is so competent, but then sometimes super incompetent. It depends on the situation. And then what's nice about that is there are limitations to the powers, there are limitations to what he can do. And they use it for laughs, but not, I mean, it's not like here's a pratfall. Like it wasn't that campy. It was campy enough to where it was like, I appreciate that at the moment he can do jack shit. He can do absolutely nothing that he used to be able to do. Yeah. I approve of that vibe. And actually, even if it had just stayed like that, I'm like, incompetent vampire, that sounds
like,
fun.
You know, like a fun, like, fish out of water.
Yeah, it's got that like caveman like technology.
Technology.
Like, style vibes. That would have been hilarious. But they're giving us more. They're giving it more nuance.
Yeah, and so when all of a sudden it was like, no, there's nuance to the rules, kind of, the supernatural rules, and I like that they kind of established within at least the first 2 episodes. By the end of the second one, it's like, here's some rules, and this is what we're gonna play with. I'm like, thank you. Like you set it up really nicely in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. So and I liked the rules. Like I liked the explanation for like why he could be out in the sunshine and stuff, and like, and how, conceptually you don't need to drink that much blood to keep yourself going, and the more you drink, the more you age and stuff. Like, it was some interesting rules. It wasn't just all the same old.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, it was, like, kind of, like, condensed, too. It was just like, yeah, this is it. Like, we don't have to, like, sit here and, like, give you a whole thesis about it.
Right.
This is it. Like, you're gonna stay if you're gonna stay. Like, that's all you need to know.
And even as far as, like, vampires being able to be out in the sun, it's like, even that, don't think too hard about it. Like, we're just setting up a safety. Just accept that for what it is, and do not think about that ever again, because if you do, it is going to probably drive you crazy.
Because here's the thing. Vampires don't exist. So the rules of what a vampire can and can do can be whatever the fuck the writer wants them to be, because they're not real, you know? Like, so don't worry about it. There's no hard rules.
And again, this is a campy one. Yeah. So just don't worry. There's especially the sunlight thing, they're like, don't you worry about that. Yeah, just let us
just chill out.
Do our thing.
It's fine. Before we get, like, too into the weeds with our chaos, as we normally do, we should probably, because since this is one of those only first 2 episode ones, there might legitimately be people who are here listening to decide if they are going to watch the show.
Pick it up. Yeah.
Because this is not because there's only so much you can spoil about 2 episodes of a 16-episode drama, okay?
And at this point, there's literally only 2. We can't even, like...
Yeah. We can't even fit. As of the recording of this, there are only 2 released episodes on Prime, so...
And those 2 episodes are very much set up. Like, they are the setup episodes. But you can tell, the setup is kind of complete within the first 2. That is nice. We're not getting a 4-episode setup. It doesn't feel like. It felt pretty solid.
It feels like we had all the major players, and we know what
we should probably tell you, who might be deciding if you should watch it, what the plot of this show is as per the first 2 episodes. Where we start with San Muhil. He's a vampire. And in the Joseon era, he had a girlfriend. But vampire hunters were like, well, he gotta die. Even though he doesn't seem like he was, like, doing anything. He was just existing.
Murdering the village or anything.
Like, I feel like maybe he, like, she seemed to be, like, a noble...
Yeah, she seemed to have a little bit of money at least.
So I feel like maybe they were just real not cool about them being in love.
Like a vampire.
Well, it also explicitly said greedy humans wanted pretty much the blood of vampires to try to live forever. Like, they wanted to probably get the powers. It didn't even say that's how it works, but essentially the humans thought that's how it worked.
Yeah.
So there you be.
So, in the most, like, stereotypical setup, like, we knew this was coming, you know, from the get-go. She gets accidentally, well, not even accidentally, she, like, sacrifices herself to save his life, even though he would have probably lived, not gonna lie.
She didn't need to stand in front of that arrow, but,
like,
you know,
he seemed like he'd have been fine, but, you know, whatever, like, you do you.
Love makes you do the thing.
Yeah. So then, she dies, and he's like, no! And, she's like, I'll be, when I'm reborn, come find me, blah, blah. So, fast forward to the 1920s. Now, I had a little bit of, like, just existential crisis when I realized, I was like, man, what era is this? And I'm like, oh, 1920s. And then, because the plot of it is that he has to sleep for 100 years. And I was like, no, that tracks. 100 years would have been, like, the Flapper Girl era. Oh, yeah, very Natalia. So, he's now in the 1920s. He runs basically a speakeasy out of this mansion with his 2 idiot vampire friends and his human butler.
It's like that one, like, bar that one guy owns in Buffy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All the vampires go to.
And then his hobby is basically getting suits tailored and then watching humans romance each other from afar, because he's a bit of a romantic and just misses his girl. He then feeds a stray cat. But it's not a stray cat. It's like a cat deity of some kind who can turn human. And he's like, oh shit, maybe you know how I can become human, because I would like to become human.
Which, by the way, that logic was so hilarious to me. Since you can become human, evidently you know how every other type of critter could become human.
And to his credit, the cat did know.
He did.
The cat did know.
Yes, but did he seem credible at the time? Because the whole time I was he did not seem credible enough to actually go and do the thing.
No, he did not seem credible whatsoever. But so this cat was like, yo, if you sleep in a hawthorn wood coffin for 100 years, exactly, you gonna be human. Don't worry about it. So he's like, perfect. So he gets his two buddies and his butler, and they hold like a weird, stupid funeral.
So good.
It was pretty good. And then his butler's like, don't worry, like, I've made a deal with you, like, me and my descendants will guard your coffin for 100 years so you can become human, and we'll take care of your house and all this. And he's like, you're the best butler ever. Like, oh, you butler, ooh, I love you.
And it was inherent, like, my vampire buddies here, who will live forever, they're both absolute idiots. So, like, I have to trust the human that's going to kick the bucket here in a handful of years.
Like, human, you have to reproduce, because I need your descendants are more likely to do a good job. And mostly they do, up until we then go to the modern world, where we meet our heroine, the descendant of this butler, who does not know that she's supposed to be part of this lineage of vampire destiny. And she just works as like a school nurse, and she seems like she cares about the kids at her work, but she's not treated very well. And she lives in a shitty apartment.
Yeah, she's down on her luck on every. She's the classic K-drama here.
Yeah.
I
mean, you get introduced to her, and she's like squeezing the last bit of moisturizer out of it.
And where does her apartment go?
In that bottle of moisturizer, you get every
all the little sample moisturizers. Like, it's like, oh, honey, oh.
So she then finds out that her landlord scammed her, and her apartment building's getting destroyed. But then a lawyer contacts her and is like, okay, your dad's been missing for 5 years, so, like, legally he's presumed dead. So you're inheriting all of his stuff, and he here's a bit of money, and also he owns a house. And she's like, what? So she arrives at this house. It's a little creepy, a little dusty. Clearly no one's been in.
You don't have a house, and you got one.
Now you do. You have a home. And then there's, like, a creepy light that she then follows into the basement where there's a coffin. Now, listen, I don't want to tell this girl her business, but I feel like I wouldn't immediately open the coffin.
Not in my thought process.
I wouldn't even be in that basement. Like,
I'd be like, at nighttime,
the rest of the house, and in the morning,
I would go down to the basement.
But like,
not in at nighttime.
Yeah, not
alone at nighttime. Resist your white heritage right now, okay?
I would not. I would not open the coffin. I would, if there was a light, because the light to me didn't seem creepy. It really was like it was a pretty light. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go like check that out," and then it was like, "Hey, this is a passageway."
No,
why not?
I would. I mean, like, I'm down on my luck anyways. Like, Jesse
and I would go check it out. Yeah. Now, definitely, if there was another person there, oh yeah, like we.
Okay, that's different.
If there were two people,
if you had the lights turned on and you weren't alone, maybe I'd go into the creepy basement. But like middle of the night by myself in a dusty abandoned
what else
house,
am I gonna do? Sleep?
No.
Jesse's not gonna sleep.
Yeah, I also wouldn't go to this house for the first time at night. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go stay at
Well, here's the thing, like, because I didn't have a house to go to, I'd probably like be forced to go there, you know?
But like, I feel like
the one thing I did want to
we
add,
should have some friends.
Yeah,
one thing I did want to add is, so after her initial visit, which this is just a side note, after the initial visit, she goes back and she like obviously stays the night there in this. The bed looks fine, but the reality is
dust.
That bed should be dusty.
Dust. Yeah, like, the dust would probably get to me more than anything else.
I was immediately like, I'm fine with maybe the desk being dusty, whatever, but they have a shot of her being in this bed. They don't make it look dusty. They make it look like, oh, it's
Do
just
they have
this
brown
nice
recluse
pre-made
in
bed.
Korea, or like
Yes.
Black Widows in Korea? That like I would worry about, like
I
something
don't
like
think
that.
they do, but yeah, that would be worrying. So anyway, she opens this coffin for some fucking reason, and he arises and is like, finally, my torment is over. The 100 years of me just lying in this coffin, going insane, is finished. And he's like, huh, wait a second. I don't appear to be human. And he's like, what day is it? And then she tells him, and it's one day before he was supposed to exit the coffin.
So what we're telling you is, if it was me or Natalia who got this house, Take would be human.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I wouldn't have shown up until the next day.
exactly.
No,
right.
Because we're all in agreement that we would not open that coffin.
That's true.
Yeah, we
all
wouldn't have
of
opened.
us.
I would not have opened the coffin by myself. You could have not made me even. But also, it's freaking hard to open coffins. What the crap?
I mean, they tell you about that later, but like, also, wouldn't you like think of like things like smell or like it just being gross?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to see.
Like, I would be like, I don't need to see that right now. I'm just gonna go and
If
call
I
somebody.
was like, there's like a mausoleum in the basement of this mansion, okay?
I'd go call the lawyer.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. That could be like a weird serial killer crime
Yeah, it's like
scene.
probably is a murder.
I mean,
Right. So
what
like,
if it was your dad? Your dad went missing 5 years ago. What if this is what
You
he
wanna see
did?
that?
so like,
Ew.
what I will say
know.
is, I would have gone down to the basement to see what the basement is like. Then I'd be like, oh shoot, there's a coffin. Peace, and then I'd go back upstairs.
I would
That
too,
is what I would do.
because I would not want to see it, but also like I've too much crime. I know that I am not going to be the one like pinned for this murder or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck was going
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
So I
my
am
fingerprints.
leaving.
My
I am going
fingerprints
to
ain't getting
document
on
this.
shit.
I'm
You
gonna
know?
make sure.
Like, absolutely.
I'm gonna
not.
back away. The authorities can do their authority,
Yeah.
and like I will not be part
I'm
of
calling
this.
CSI post
Yeah.
case. I ain't touching
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
I will like
Absolutely
sleep on the
not.
sidewalk. Be cool.
So he arises and finds out he's still kind of a vampire. Not a full vampire. Much to come. And then he freaks out. Understandable.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, like, I'd be upset if that was the case myself. And she's like, okay, here's my thing about, like, her. She immediately is like, you're a pervert who broke into my house. Why would you jump to that conclusion? This man was locked in a coffin? Why would you say you broke into my house?
That is very impressive shenanigans. If that was what you're thinking,
Yeah, like,
actually
I
happened.
know, especially because it's your first like 2 hours there. Like,
Like, how would he have gotten himself into that
was
coffin?
he at the office?
Yeah.
And he heard that you got the.
And then he would trust you, who he's never met, supposedly, to open said, like, you know, he could have just been
He's
Yeah, like,
staying there.
I hope she's gonna open
I'd have-
this and
I'd
not
have
just
been-
leave me here to
Yeah,
die.
I'd have been like, dude, who put you here? Like, I'd have shown a little bit of concern before I
I might be
jumped
like-
to anger.
Were you like a realtor that got like jumped and like put in this coffin? What's going
Yeah, I
on?
mean, I would be keeping a lot of physical distance from him, though.
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
A lot of
Yeah,
physical
I don't know this
distance.
guy. But anyway,
He's
he
a
then is
guy,
like,
so yeah, of course.
He's a guy. He then is like, well, better make best of a good situation, and goes to like bite her. If he's gonna be a vampire, he's gonna vampire, right?
Yeah.
But then she bites him instead, and is like, "Fuck you, buddy!" Like
That was
that's
so
what I want.
funny.
It was so good.
So
Um,
random.
And in what I can only assume is some sort of like shock response, he then faints. But then she realizes, oh shit, he doesn't have a heartbeat, and thinks that she murdered him by accident.
By biting him.
Yeah. So then, obviously calls 911. They go to the hospital. He's pronounced dead because he's a vampire with no heartbeat. But then just like gets out of bed and is like, okay, I'm gonna leave, freaking just everyone out. And then she's like, I don't want to deal with this psycho anymore. You're crazy, leave me alone. And then just takes off and then
in a cab,
and leaves him. So then he has to like wander around. This is where the fish out of water shenanigans begins, because the last he remembers, it was 1923. And now it is 2023, and Seoul has become wildly different. And he's just exploring, looking at billboards and people, following a cat, riling up some old ladies who think that he's harassing the cat. Just you know.
No, but for the record, I loved the scene, and they were just like chicks that were.
Yeah,
they had seen him following the cat, and then they saw him yelling at the cat, and they were like, "Don't mess with the cat." Like
yeah.
they were.
I loved when one of them she pulls her cardigan aside to put her hands on her hips, and she has a cat purse, a purse
yep.
shaped like a cat. I was like, the local cat lady.
Well, and then I love how he figured it out. He's like, "You guys seem like nice people who take care of homeless cats. Can you please help me find somewhere?
Yeah, he's
Thank you."
I'm a bit of a homeless cat myself. He was following the cat because it looked like the cat. The cat dog.
The 1,000-year-old cat dude. Yeah.
He ends up back at the house.
He has nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else to go. She wants nothing to do with this guy. Meanwhile, there's a second plot happening, because we meet a real estate developer who's the guy who bought her apartment that she got scammed in, and then wouldn't you know it, they knew each other in college. So he's I want to help you out of your scam.
The love triangle is complete.
Yeah, that came quick.
Now listen, he seems a little too nice for a real estate developer, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So I think there's something shifty going on there, but we'll have to see. He's nice as
maybe
of
it's his descendants. Maybe
is his smile pretty? Yes, it is.
Is he a vampire hunter? Possibly.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking as well. Because listen, we know how these stories go. But
because they keep bringing up a couple times, there are no more vampire hunters. It's are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
Did you
forgot about it?
Because it seems like maybe you don't have as many, so
yeah.
Well, and I could see if in the 20s he was like in the 1920s he was like, people forgot about vampires and we kind of just live our lives now. But in the last 100 years, we have unforgotten about vampires. We are very, very into vampires now, and
I kind of like the idea
things would be revived.
That the vampire hunters weren't around purely because they had to do other work. It was they had to focus on human needs. So they're we got to switch time things. There's a war going on, and there's all this famine going on. We got to be like a human, and that's why there's no vampire hunters, because they all had to switch jobs, and now they're back.
Because landlord isn't a real job. So.
No, landlord's not a real job. Okay?
It's not. Yeah,
owning property isn't a fucking career. But moving on, we don't need to get into that. And basically, how episode 2 ends is she encounters the landlord who scammed her.
Well, I do want to interject. So there was a moment where Taekyeon's character does, the two main characters do have they see each other at the house again. And he really tries to prove he's a vampire.
Yes.
He really tries.
So
hard.
He tries to show fangs, doesn't work. He tries to fly, doesn't work. He tries to use all of his snapping powers and powers. Nothing is working. And she keeps on being like, is that it? This is doing nothing for me. You're just a wackadoodle. He's I don't know what's, and he kind of knows that he's in this in-between space between vampire and human right now, just because that one last day, and he's like, are you freaking kidding me? You're the one that did this to me, and you don't believe me that I'm in this situation. So then I just wanted to preface, because I thought that was really funny. I appreciated the incompetent vampire vibes with that, and though it was campy, he just looked sad.
Yeah, he was very depressed about everything, and it was very it was hitting him hard. He's like, but
I can't think of another actor who would have pulled off the sincerity of that scene so well, because he killed it. Like,
and she didn't seem like extra jerky about it. She was just like, this isn't proving anything.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything.
It was more like she was like being like, okay, this man is mentally unwell, and I'm just going to go, okay.
Hey, sweetie, you're doing great.
Now get out of the house.
So
okay, so I just because there was an in between time where he obviously his powers were not powering. I just wanted to put that in there.
So he meets up with the cat god, and the cat god's like, well, shit, you're like half and half now. Like, so you gotta like meet up with that girl's clearly connected to it. So you gotta keep her safe, because I feel like if something happens to her, something's gonna happen to you.
Because no one else would have been able to open the coffin because you were Snow White or something. Essentially.
Real sus. You gotta... So meanwhile, she's just out and about being sad because her life sucks, and she sees the scammer, who's pulling another scam, might I add. He's pretending to be his scams were that he pretended to be like the various religious leaders. Money out of people and then run off. So she's like, fuck this guy, I'm catching him. Like, I got nothing to lose. So she just takes off after him. And she's like, get back here, you son of a bitch. And he's like running. He's like, why? Stop chasing me! And she's like, I'm never going to stop chasing you until you give me back my money. So of course, Tachyon for some reason can not Tachyon, his character. The actor is Tachyon. The character's name is Woohyul. Can hear this happening. And suddenly his vampire powers done activate.
Yeah, he gets real serious real fast.
So this is what happens. Because she gets in danger because she runs in front of a car.
Yeah.
And that's what activates the bite that she bit him, and it hurts, and then he can start sensing that. And also then once he starts sensing these things, then he's like, he knows he doesn't have powers at the moment. He's like, because he hasn't drank any blood at all. And he's like, I gotta do something. So he drinks a little vial of blood that the cat dude gave him. So then he's like, yeah, I can fly and crap
I'm
now.
back, baby! So then he shows up right when they end up in a creepy alleyway, as
you do.
Want to do, you know. And the dude suddenly has a metal pipe, and is like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this girl that I scammed. For where he got it, who knows?
Very escalation.
He wasn't a violent offender, but he's decided to become a violent offender.
But he did the whole creepy dude turn. So he was obviously a bad dude, but then he did the whole, oh, no one's around and she's a woman, therefore I'm going to just beat the snot out of her. It's like, that's too realistic. That's kind of scary. That's a thing dudes do.
So then, in vampire form, he now appears and beats the shit out of the scammer. And then suddenly she's like, oh shit!
Suddenly, she's like, that's hot.
One, that is hot. But two, I guess you aren't just a crazy weirdo. You were just having an impotency problem earlier. Don't worry about it. And that's the first 2 episodes. Now, I did have one favorite scene. And despite the fact that I didn't love his idiot vampire friend characters in the 20s, I kind of like them more as modern sad sack vampires who have nothing. Yeah. But when they showed up for the coffin opening and they had a cake and the glasses and the noisemakers, but the coffin's empty and gone, and they're like, oh, he didn't stick around. Oh, he's too good for us now, huh? I was like, this is so just such a good scene. It was kind of even, it wasn't even a long scene. It was just kind of a throwaway scene where they were like, oh, he's human now, so he didn't even wait around. He knew we were coming, but he didn't even wait around. Okay. This show is ridiculous. I'm enjoying it.
It is ridiculous.
He gets drunk from eating ramen.
Oh, yes.
He has a religious experience eating ramen for the first time.
He's like, the humans were keeping this to themselves?
They were keeping this secret? And then he's super drunk. Super drunk. And she's
living
like,
the life.
What the hell? What was in that ramen?
Sometimes a really good meal just be like that, though.
It's
be like that sometimes.
Just hits right.
It's different every once in a while, So, like, what was everyone's first impressions from the first 2 episodes?
So I was curious how Jessie, like, was
Oh,
it
yeah.
maybe enough for you, Jessie? Like, how did you vibe with it?
I will say that when they make her annoying, they make her really annoying, and it's kind of like exhausting annoying. Like, I don't like her character half the time, the female lead, which is sucky because I think the other half of the time she's like great. So it's like I'm at odds with that. Like when she gets like screamy and stuff, it's just like it's a little too stupid. Like it's just too stupid for what we've already established her character to be. She's like sad, but she's not a stupid character. So I don't like that.
Like kind of the dramatics of when she was interacting with the people about to demolish her place, like that type of thing, like the way she was acting.
Yeah, and then there's just like some parts. I will say that like literally nobody can do this but Tech. Tech actually knows what camp is because camp is different than comedy too.
It is.
And he has been able to grasp it. Like, so all of his scenes are straight camp, and I think everybody else would play those as comedy, and it would not land for me at all. And I'm not just saying this because I love Tech, because I do love Tech. But like, I mean, like, look at him. But
But I mean, there've been Tech shows that you'll watch a little bit of it, and then you'll be like, I'm not going to be able to watch the rest of the show. Though he's doing a good job, I'm piecing out. Like you've done that before.
I think the biggest thing with this is that they do keep on going back. Like it's in that like level of drama, kind of like Oh My Ghostess, or like Let's Fight Ghost, or what's that one that just aired, the taxi driver one?
Yeah,
the Ghost.
Delivery Man.
Delivery Man. Like, it's, if you like those types of dramas, this is like that subgenre of dramas that like Korea loves. These like supernatural genre. Like I like the like parts, the like kind of heavier parts too. Like, so like they're establishing going back, and his like connection with his like first love, because obviously the reincarnation plot is going to happen. I really like that it's the actress. She's like one of the first actresses I like zeroed in on when I first started watching Asian dramas. So like I was really excited to see her. There are some parts I was just like about, but like also like I felt that like everybody was like, it's so camp, it's so camp, it's so camp, and then like when I was watching, I was like, we haven't even come to a comedy part yet. So like I think everybody hyped it up to the percentage of how much it is. Because I think if you go in watching it, you'll realize like a good portion of it is not comedy or camp at all. But like everybody's kind of like portraying the show as that. Not to say that it won't like advance the more that we go on.
It's got some pretty solid rom-com
vibe
there.
Yes.
Too, right?
And there's like a lot of like cliches that they're doing that's like solidly like old school rom-com stuff too.
And like the preview for the next episode seemed like they're going hard on the fish out of water comedy situation.
Yeah. So like I'm at like I enjoyed it, but I also could see me not enjoying this. Like it could go downhill very quickly for me.
Yeah, like you could end up watching another episode too and be like, peace out.
And they'd be like, yeah, I'm out. Like I really liked the first episode, and I liked the last half of the second episode. So like that's where it can like really be.
Yeah,
it could go anyway.
But it is hard to see like, and not even even if it doesn't end up having tonal shift issues or anything, as some dramas do. I'm not assuming that about it. The first episodes were so much set up. Some of the tone is established, and some of the tone was really just, since it was flashback and set up and stuff, you don't know how much of those tones are going to keep with the present day stuff. Really? Like, we're not quite sure about that.
And I will say that, like, one of the common, like, things that, like, old school K-dramas used to do is that, like, the first couple of episodes, the female lead was obnoxious, and then she got better. Like, immediately, she, like, basically changed into a different completely human being. So, like, that possibly could also happen with her, too. Like, because I feel like her, like, there are scenes that, like, she's just so grounded and great and strong, even in her, like, life falling apart era, that I just, like, don't want that to be, like, constantly taken away from her for, like, as a laugh track for her character, especially... like if you're not giving that like same thing to Tex character as well, and like because his camp is just like so like what it is. Like it's very natural that you would put like a lot of the funny moments on his.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
that's
his wheelhouse. Like he's good.
Yeah, but like it also just fits with the character, and it fits like when it happens. You know, like it's like okay, yeah, of course that would like be that way.
Like really, they would have done better for any comedy or humor interaction with the female lead. It should just be involving him. Aside from that, if she mostly had, you know, straight. Normal. You know, just dealing with her life stuff. Yeah. She doesn't really need extra. She doesn't need a pratfall. Like, she really doesn't need, like, that doesn't help that character.
Like, a good, like, thing, like, to, like, what I wouldn't like is the, like, when she gets attacked by the mother at the school, and it's super comedic and super stuff, and then you find out that she literally has been helping this girl who's been, like, completely bullied by the school, and the school's not doing anything. She's helped her. Like, there was no, like, the lead up of, like, it being so, like, comedic to me just, like, really, like, affected my, like... It felt weird to me that then we find out this great thing. Like, when, like, also when she, like, immediately goes, well, you don't know your daughter. Your daughter is sitting here being bullied. Why aren't you, like, picking up on that? Like, it just, like, those are the kind of things where I just don't like it, because it just feels like it's just a punch to the gut of the, like, serious thing, like, mockery almost. At least, like, in my, like, internal feelings, that's how, like, I watch it as, whether it is or not.
Well, and it was the same thing with, like, when the character was reacting to her home about to be demolished type stuff, and when I say that, like, the demolished dude's about to, like, do, you know, throwing her stuff out the window, and they made her hysterical. Really, that's not... It didn't look like that's what her character would do.
Yeah.
She'd be angry. Like...
Yeah,
right.
Like, there's a way to do that, like, where, like, it could be emotional that wasn't...
Yeah, like, still having panic and stuff. I'm not saying you couldn't be, like, you know, very heightened and whatever. But the way she seemed like she wasn't doing anything proactive, which... her character seems like a very proactive person, even the way she has dealt with Tech's character, like, from the beginning. So it just didn't seem to track with...
I mean, like, also, she's the girl that opened a coffin just, like, on a whim. Like, make me believe that that's the same person. Like,
So that moment was very helpless female character, and it was like, that doesn't really go with anything else she's done. But it felt very like, oh, we have to do this so we can introduce Mr. Realtor Dude. And it's like, okay, but she still could have been... better in this situation and him still come. Like, you didn't need to do this. But they tried to make it almost funny with the way she was like...
When this was not a funny situation.
Like, all of her belongings are, like, and she doesn't have a family, and, like, all of the, like, belongings she has from that family are just getting thrown out. Tee-hee.
Yeah, it was tee-hee that, and it was like, this isn't funny. This is actually really sad. Like, not great. Okay. So... yeah, I get that vibe.
You know what's interesting? She's 23 years old, this actress.
I know.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that. Because the character and everything, like, she feels older. She feels like a 30-year-old or something.
Oh.
Like,
she's going to be in Squid Game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who isn't?
And she was in that year-end medley that we watched.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, who wasn't?
That is true. I really want to know the budget of that.
Like that movie had everyone. Now I gotta say though, the guy playing the real estate developer, who I have bad vibes about, this is his first acting job.
Oh wow.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. He's a singer. He was on Immortal Songs for many episodes, and he was on Quantum Singer.
Oh, let me go see him.
Yeah.
Immortal Songs, you have to have really good like interaction with people quite often if you're a return person. Like, it's a thing.
He was in stage musicals previously.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah, he was on Immortal Songs a lot. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also was in a singing competition in Phantom Singer 2.
Yeah,
the final rounds where he was like
came in second behind Forestella. Like,
which
understandable.
Oh.
Understandable, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
And his bachelor's degree is in acting, so that's
he was a musical stage actor.
He's
so
doing,
yeah, this is his first television film.
That's cool.
Thing. So like,
I'm
like, this guy.
So
like,
what we need is him to sing eventually.
Give us a random like musical singing battle. Go full camp with this, okay?
I mean, they could do like with what's wrong with Secretary Kim and like make the guy do a 2 p.m. song.
Yeah.
Make this dude the villain and then give him a nice villain song. I would be so down with that too.
So where do we think this is going, ladies? Where do we see? What are our predictions?
I mean, it's definitely going in. Like, I feel like there's going to be some parts like that are legitimately with like the reincarnation of people, like, and how that affects Tech's character. Like, I feel like we're gonna get like into like kind of like more of like vampires and vampire hunters, especially because they decided to bring it up at that one point. I feel like
it was a real
it's gonna happen
gun there. Yeah.
And then whenever we get the reincarnated lover is going to be like the really big key, because that's definitely why he like is always searching like people, couples and stuff. He's always trying to find her.
Like, she's got to be evil in her reincarnation, right? Like, that's how we work this through. Or it's just or
she ends up with that
like
guy.
Her reincarnation, like she looks like her but isn't her.
Yeah,
right.
That's
like
the
one of
or
them
becomes a vampire hunter or something. You know,
one
like
of them's gonna
look
like the reincarnation, and one of them's going to be the reincarnation, or that kind of a thing. I feel like this is the type of rom-com that winds up with a serial killer plot in the second half, because but like a rogue vampire or something, and it starts.
Well, you're just vampire hunters be murdering.
Yeah. So I could see that being a thing. People start winding up dead, and you're like, ooh, what's that?
I do feel like there needs to be a female vampire at some point.
Yeah.
Well, there was something like
I mean, there was in the 20s.
But like a
solid. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna be.
I would really like for the main female lead's character to like start to have something, like maybe like through her ancestry, you kind of find out, because like there's obviously a reason why the butler was so great with the vampires, and so like maybe there's something else, like, because they already are establishing that there are a bunch of different kind of like magic elements to this, so it's not just vampires. So like maybe she has something supernatural like tied to her, but she's still like human wise, and I would really like it to like develop so we could like see her character become something more than just where it is now.
And also, we gotta find out what happened to her dad.
Yeah, like the
dad. That's gonna be a thing.
Be a mystery.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, the guy playing her dad is like, you know his face. Like, if you watch,
so you're
like, oh, that guy.
Also, like, whenever there's like a missing dad, and they're like, well, presumed dead, and you're like, he's not dead.
No, he ain't dead. Okay, come on.
I feel like they could do a like kind of what we do in the Shadows type thing, to where the butler is like a vampire, like lineage of vampire hunters.
That's what,
but
like there were a lot of moments in this show that I was like, oh, the people who wrote this, that they like that show.
Right.
Like you're like, oh, I see
like,
that.
Legit,
yes.
Like Matthew, I was watching it, and my husband Matthew was like, oh, is this like what we do in the Shadows? And I'm like, I don't know yet, honey. I don't think so, but...
Which, by the way, I love that show. Like,
it's
love that show. So good. If you watch it, like...
I will say, if you can't handle raunchy things,
don't watch what we
probably
do in the
don't go watch it.
It's so
but
good.
you can watch this show. You know, just stick with like this show. And you'll be
this is on KBS. I don't think there's gonna be too much to watch. Okay.
But I do think also it made me think of it too when I mean, so I love that show as well, and it's kind of like the Incompetent Vampire Friends and stuff. It's like
they're very much like kind of that.
What we do in the Shadows is pretty much there are no cool vampires. All the vampires are just like dumb in various ways, and like.
But they
like just like good. Humans, just here's all the dumb people. Like that's really all it is. Plus powers, like okay.
Like, I would love this to go full What We Do in the Shadows. Like,
Oh,
if that
if
is
it
where
actually
this goes,
does do that, that would be
this will
great.
be one of the best K-dramas ever made, if that's where it goes with it, because that would be such a vibe, you know?
It also reminded me just a hair of, like, Sell Your Haunted House, just enough.
Yeah.
If they were leaning more on the serious side of it, because that's what was so good about Sell Your Haunted House, was even though there were times of levity, it was a serious show.
Yeah, they,
about
like,
supernatural stuff.
So
like,
to the comedy, but not, like, they didn't rely on it. It was just, like, comedy happens in real life. Like,
yeah, it was situational.
Like, yeah.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's not going to, like, fully do that, but it reminded me a little bit of, when we were in the more serious tones, it made me be like, oh, this kind of reminds me of that. Just a little bit. Yeah. Which I think, I did really like the serious
shows, you're going to like this show. Yeah. Like, you're going to be interested in this show if you're, like, into that
sort of vibe
section. Yeah.
If you like your urban fantasy, and you like your, supernatural comedy, a la, even another tech one, Let's Fight Ghost. If you like Let's Fight Ghost, you're gonna like this one.
Let's Fight Ghost,
like if you like the vibes there, you're gonna like the vibes here. It's,
it's just that we've seen enough dramas of various genres that take a left turn at some point, or if one of the main characters is annoying, so if the female character keeps on going back and forth, that's a thing that can turn off some viewers for sure.
And I mean, we've seen enough of these where after the first 2 or 4 episodes, there's like a massive switch that gets flipped, and you're like, suddenly now it's dark, or suddenly now it's just straight rom-com, or it's like, we're just watching The Odd Couple now, and they just live together, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and this one definitely it was fully set up in these 2 episodes, so you really don't get like what's going to be like the day-to-day,
because it really was, here's the history, here's how these 2 people meet, and here we are.
Him like trying to like interact with like 2020, like
Which I'm gonna say that's one of my favorite tropes. Like even if I don't stick with a drama, sometimes if I know there's that like scene, I get a kick out of those scenes like a lot. Even if it's more on the campy side, I still get a kick out of it, and then I'm like, okay, that was enough. Like if I don't jive with whatever drama it is, but I've liked it in Queen Inhyun's Man was fun. King Eternal Monarch was fun. Best Hit was fun. Like, so any time or dimension issue, like, I get a big kick. And it doesn't have to last very long. It can be like a 10-minute thing, and I'm like, oh, that was enjoyable. Like, thanks. I do like the suits so far.
Oh, the suits. Say less.
It makes you kind of want, because he seems like a pretty fashion sensible vampire. If
like
this
drastically in his friend group, he's like the complete opposite out of all his friends.
But like, if it leans more rom-com later, which who knows, right? But if it does,
is there gonna be a
makeover scene?
Oh, please, I beg of ye.
Or like, you really could. There could be all types of tropes that they haven't even set up yet, because they really just did like bringing us to the present. Because they really could do like cohabitation. I mean, that they will do cohabitation. That's pretty obvious, right? That will happen. But we don't know what that will entail. It might be contract marriage, but it might be contract butler.
Like comedy would be like really great is her with the vampire friends, and just like the shenanigans of that. Like that's the type. Just sort of the
realization that like, oh, it could be worse. Is what you're telling me. Like, it could be worse vampires. Got it.
That's like, oh, you're like, like the cool vampire, and these are the complete dorks. Okay. I get it.
You're just like humans. This is the way it works. I thought it was pretty charming so far in a lot of aspects. Like, I'll probably keep with it. For me, it would have to take a really hard turn for me to not keep watching it. But
I think I definitely
it could do that
next week.
It could.
Yeah.
Listen, this show is just, it's like they said, what would Natalia really love to watch this summer? And then they were like, here you go. So
this show really did say, what would Tech really like? And then and they're this handing to him and he's
here
like,
you go.
Well, you can tell he's having so much fun.
So much fun. Like,
also, he gets to do range just in the first 2 freaking episodes. So, like, it's not just, the very first, like, action scene. It was also, he got mad for a second, and he got to be, like, super serious mad. I'm like, yes, give us the range.
Give us violent villain tech. We love it.
Okay? Even like, for a moment.
Just for a sec, just for a little
And then he gets to do, like, when he's doing the fang face thing, you can tell he's having a heck of a time with that.
Yeah.
I literally cannot think of another actor who could have pulled off that scene and made it, like, not cringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you mean when he was trying to do fangs and he couldn't make the fangs?
He was trying to do any of the vampire stuff and, like, make it not just, like, embarrassing to witness. Like, but it's embarrassing to witness, but, like, fun.
Bad. Like,
but
you know, too. You're like,
but, like, it's not in the way that you're like, I can't look at this. Like, this is embarrassing for that actor to have to do this. You know?
So, do we put money on the fact that there will be at least one 2 p.m. joke within the series?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like,
they do it in every single series.
Yeah, there's never, like, I've
every
never watched a drama that has a 2 p.m. person that they haven't done something.
Like, at least if it's a comedy. Like, there's something, you know?
Yeah, like, okay, like, maybe Save Me doesn't have a 2 p.m.
like,
reference.
To be fair, Save Me doesn't have many fun references.
There's not a lot of
and if you want to hear more about that, we do have a Save Me episode you can search for and find. But yeah, no, this is on my watch list.
Are you down to clown, like you would say?
I'm down to clown with this.
I figured. When I was watching, I was like, okay.
Natalia's gonna like this one.
Yeah.
How about you, Amanda?
I think so. I'm enjoying it so far, and I've started a couple other rom-coms in the last week that have not hit the way that this one has. So where they've just felt lackluster to me, and so I'm like, but this one feels fun. Like it feels like it's going to be fun, and like they're going to be fun together. So I'm in it. I'm up for it.
Yeah, I will say so far the two, like, I wouldn't say they have chemistry yet, but as far as how they play off of each other, the two main characters, like, I've had fun with that so far.
Yeah, I thought they were actually, they're fine together.
Like, there's good interaction, there's give and take, it works. She held her ground very well with him, like, it seemed like it worked for me. So, like, I'm not saying, ooh, chemistry, because, like, that's not what's happening right now, so.
We're not at that part, like, at all.
Yeah. We're not there
which I appreciate. Now, his character did have a, like, I see myself in your eyes moment. And we're like,
but
okay.
No. But the reason that was amazing is because in the ethos of vampires, they're the only ones who can't see their own reflection.
But he was, like, grabbing her face, like, she was like, oh, no, we're not doing this. This is not...
So it was like less romantic and more just
because they
amazed.
Yeah, because he was very, like, that was one of his things. So they even like left the mirror for him so he could see himself.
So that is something we didn't talk about, like the mirror thing. So not just the rule that like, it's not that vampires don't have a reflection; they just can't see themselves. Like everyone else thinks they have a reflection. So that like that's kind of nice because it doesn't give them away. But so like now that he missed a day in his sleeping. He's like fuzzy,
a blurry form that's vaguely him.
But the additional funny part about this is even like back in like the 20s era and stuff. It was he was like a lady killer, like Lady Mac. Like everyone was like he's so handsome, of course.
Deserved, you know.
But the thing is, he can't see himself, so he has no idea what he actually looks like. So, like, that's just really funny. So then he has these friends that are not very pretty. And so one of them is, like, keeps saying keeps saying himself is handsome. And it's like, don't compare yourself to Tech's character. Like, that's not nice. He can't see himself. Like, don't do that. I like how that was played up for laughs because it's the whole, like, he's pretty and doesn't really know it, but he kind of knows it, but he can't see himself, so, like, it's funny.
It's so funny because the first time I saw Taekyon, I was like, I don't know. But the more you look at him, the better looking he gets, the longer
I
you
feel
look.
like
he's also got the personality
the
and then, like, he just, like, sets it over, and you're like, okay,
he put a lot of stats in charisma, I see. Hello.
I feel like the truest moment in any K-drama ever in the history of the world was in Bring It On Ghost, when she's, like, drunk on his back and she's pulling at his ears and she's like, why are you so ugly? Why are you so pretty? And I'm like, yes, because he just has this face where you're like, what? And then you're like,
thought he was ugly.
You know?
Okay?
But, like,
I'm not gonna say that. I was just like, I don't know. Maybe he's not for me. You know, I don't really think of anyone as ugly per se. But, like, maybe he's not for me. But then the more you look, you're like, but maybe.
To me, it just depends on what role or what outfit he's in, because it can be like, oh, he's a dude, just a dude. Some actors are just dude that's just a dude. Like,
just a guy.
He looks like a clean dude. Like, okay.
He looks like he bathes. That's A+.
Yeah.
Good job.
But then it's like the charisma thing, or the way he, does whatever role he's in. It's like, and then he's hilarious in real life and all that. It's like, I see what's happening now.
He's not just a dude. He's just the dude. I get it. Yeah, no,
or even like he's just adorable sometimes. The way he does like cute smile, like how he plays up certain stuff is really funny.
I just think he's neat.
Just like him.
Little Simpsons reference for you.
But I know that Natalia has a thing for the ears.
I do love them. There's something about them. Okay, I like the thing about me.
You like prominent features on the face.
I really like interesting looking people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Jessie said. You like prominent features on faces.
Yeah, I like people who have something about them that makes them really unique looking. Mm-hmm. And Taecyeon's ears make him very unique looking in the world of Korean entertainment. Like, because they big, okay? They grippers, like, like they're something. And I people who have unique looks. And I feel like oftentimes, we're looking at Korean beauty standards. A lot of people have very similar features that are seen as the ideal. Whereas when someone comes to prominence who has a very unique looking face, I'm like, yeah. Sort of like the actor who played the husband in like Dr. Cha, the one that just came out. Like that actor is a really unique looking dude,
And that's how, like, I feel like he was a character actor for so long, like, because he was always like unique looking, and then he's always had the acting chops to do like great character basis stuff.
Just on a slight side, I just saw a photo shoot with him, and this photo shoot had such vibe to it. They dressed him like he was like an idol in his 20s, and he just had the weirdest poses and like the weirdest facial expressions, and you're like, go off, King! Like, live your life, sir. But yeah, no, I like really unique looking people, and Taecyeon is one of those unique, one of God's little unique looking creatures, So yeah, I'm down to clown with Tack any day, anytime. Call me.
So we've already said. So pretty much, you guys said if you like Let's Fight Ghost, you'll probably at least want to give this a shot.
So far, as of the first 2 episodes, it seems like that is the sort of show wheelhouse vibe that it's going for.
Well, I can even see, like, Oh My Ghostess being something like this. Like, it might even get into it. Like, I know Almost Ghostess has, like, some darker stuff, but like it could happen. Like we're only 2 episodes in. But yeah, like there's that like just the supernatural like comedy like subgenre that like Korean dramas, like if you're into that like grouping, I think that like you should definitely give it a try.
And I mean, we can only say from the first 2 episodes, like so far, if you haven't delved into that genre before, like if you are a newer drama watcher and you haven't checked that, it's possible that you haven't tried that genre before. Give it a shot. We can't say where this one heads because, like we said, first 2 episodes was very set up, very much set up. It's nice that they established a lot of rules. I feel like there are even more rules as the thing progresses. Like we really don't know a ton of stuff.
Well, I mean, like to be fair, he doesn't even know the rules of his own kind either, too.
Yeah,
right.
Like there's things that he's like kind of experiencing for the first time too.
And so, like one prediction that I have, I meant to throw this out earlier. I'm not saying that Mr. Catman has to be suspicious. But he could be if he wanted to be. He's a cat.
He's a
little
cat.
gray now.
Listen, cats do what they want for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I feel like he's already done a couple of favors.
That's true.
I'm like, why are you doing favors? Like, you know, deities and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to want something later? Like, that's always, there's give and take with stuff. I just feel like that might be a thing. Or if they just used him as a plot device and they're never going to bring him up again. I don't know. But if he showed up in present time, I feel like he's going to be around at least
It would be really funny, like, if it's, like, mostly him in his cat form, and so then they just have to, like, keep the cat at the house, and that's, like, their other thing that they have to deal with.
Well, yeah, like, if he gets stuck in cat form or something.
The cat was on one of the posters.
So, okay.
So, the one where they're sitting on the roof and Taekyon has a bunch of, like, kiss marks on his face, the cat is sitting next to him.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Maybe he gets stuck in cat form. Like, maybe something happens.
Or he's just there and, like, he doesn't want the girl to know that he's a cat human, a cat god.
So, if he's mostly gonna stay cat, but, like, still talk to him when they're by themselves, like, that would be fun.
That's fun.
That would be fun. I'm curious if we're gonna get to see the whoever the contact is at the blood bank that is selling blood to the vampires, because now in modern times there's CCTV everywhere. They can't just go around
and everything's like
here and there.
Got barcodes and stuff on them.
We had it like established in the 20s that they don't need much, so they don't take much. So they don't actually kill people. They don't like a mosquito can't kill you. Vampires don't kill you either.
Yeah.
But you know, you're still gonna get in trouble if you run around like biting people's necks. That's not cool. So I'm curious if that will be a thing, like a cameo appearance or a regular character or something that they'll pull in, or if it's just kind of a one-off that they mentioned and we won't see that again.
Also, it will be fun, him reuniting with his dorky friends.
Yes.
The idiot crew.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, if they actually have like a bar too still, that's my like weakness. That's like my trope that I love. The like bar that they go to all the time.
Yeah. Like it would be cool to see a wider like vampire society that's still what it looks like now. And
or are they just gonna make Taekyun's character like put on an apron and work at that little snack bar that's failing, but then it gets successful because he's pretty?
He's
like
pretty
that. Like that could be a thing.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go be like a teacher at the school, because that will be way too many shenanigans.
Okay, but I do love a person from the past teaches history and is mad about the history book inaccuracy trope. Like that's always fun.
Okay.
Like,
I'd be good for like a guest lecture. Like that's fine. I don't
Maybe
want him to be in charge of children.
Like
that sounds
sitting
scary.
in or something. Yeah, and he's like, "That's dumb. That never happened. That's not at all what happened." You know, that's always fun.
I just don't want his himbo character to be leading the future of Korea. That sounds scary to me.
But it feels like it felt like in the 20s, like he was a bit of a leader in the vampire society at that time.
It felt like he had authority of some sort.
Yeah, so I wonder if that might be a thing. Like vampires have all kind of like society has kind of fallen apart a bit, and they all just kind of do their own thing, and he's gonna be like, nah, that's not how we used to be, and like maybe try to reorganize people and get them following the rules again or something, like.
And let's open a bar so
Yeah.
Jessie can be happy.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the show to reveal the true parasitic vampires on society.
Yes,
real
me
estate
too.
moguls
Yeah.
and landlords.
That's
Can't
what
wait
I mean.
for
Like,
it.
I think it's going to. That's actually what's going to happen, because you always have to have that kind of like social justice type thing, you know, like kind of like strong women don't want to sing about the construction, you know.
Well,
you know,
I
With
could
the
see that
redevelopment,
being a thing where, like, you know, dude maybe he is just as nice as he seems, and he really honestly thinks he's doing a good thing. I'm making money, and I'm making nice houses for people to live in, kind of thing.
or
And, like,
it's just
takes,
this,
like,
Now,
yeah, but like 100 years ago, everybody here had a house, and now people can't own homes. Why
no,
are you
I
doing
don't listen.
that?
I
You know?
don't
Like,
want to
could
like
see
shit
that.
on your theory, but I've seen the promo images of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we may have been spoiled about his true intentions. Promo image vibes.
Fair
Shall
enough.
we say?
Although
If you
we
haven't
do
seen
also
all the
know promos lie, so we'll have
That's
to
true.
see.
I don't know.
I was just going to encourage people, if they haven't, it's fine to not see all the promo images, but there is a specific like photography set that they did that's really pretty that involves
Oh, and
suits.
everyone's wearing red and black suits. Say it isn't so, Sky.
Red and
Say
black.
it isn't so.
Yeah.
Red and
Sky
black
likes
suits.
red and black.
What?
So yeah, go check it out if you like that type of thing. But I think it seems pretty fun. Like, I can't see it getting. I feel like it's going to keep at least some of the camp.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would like
yeah.
it to lean in the darker stuff, honestly, because I think it was already doing that pretty well. The little bit it did. But it's going to be interesting to see, like, what turns it takes. Because, like I said, there's really no... We've seen such a gamut within this genre before, with specifically Korean dramas, that, like, we have no idea. We don't know.
And even
I didn't look up the writer, so I will go
within
with the
these
writer.
2 episodes, there was such a gamut. Like, there was a lot that happened. Like, there was serious, there was funny, there was sad, there was a lot going on. So it's hard to say for sure where it's going in the future.
It is the first project of both writers, according to MDL. I will put it that way.
Interesting.
See.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's
So
see
like,
where it goes.
so we really, I'm just saying we can't use that to predict. Now, as far as director,
He's done some good stuff. Like he did
Yeah.
The
King's
Affection. I
Affection,
really enjoyed
Live
that
or
one.
Die.
Okay.
Hello Me. So he was working for Netflix before, but I guess they weren't interested in taking on as a vampire. Or
And
they
then
got
also there's a
outbid.
second director, isn't it? The Secret House, Stormy Woman, The Scarlet Letter, White Lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds all very serious stuff. So like, makes you wonder. Makes you
Yeah,
wonder.
like
But as
Live
far as the
or
writers,
Die
we
was
don't know.
different.
Interesting.
So-
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see where it goes. So
yeah, there's no way to predict. It could be super fun. I hope it will be. I hope it
I
will
hope
keep
so.
being fun.
I just read the first comment in on
oh god.
Asian
why?
Wiki, and it's like, Netflix, wake up and bring this one in, please. Do it for me. It's on Prime. You think that like it's gonna go to Netflix if it's on Prime?
You think it's gonna hop over to 2023 Netflix?
Yeah, right.
That's not gonna happen.
Get it together. Get it together. Ah,
So yeah, check it out if you like those vibes that we talked about.
yeah.
We have no guarantees for you. Cannot give any other than you'll get to see Tech being a himbo vampire.
And what's not to love? What's not
what
to
is
love?
not-
That should get you in just like on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to our take on the first 2 episodes of Heartbeat, which is now playing on Prime. If you wanted to listen to this podcast, if you just somehow found us by mystery or by accident, You can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found, but we also have all of our episodes on our YouTube channel, where we also do weekly live streams. So you should come hang out with us there. It's super fun. Just search Certified Noonas and you'll find us. And also all of our episodes can be found on our website, which includes the links and the time codes and to everything that we talk about. And that's certifiednoonas.com. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to join the Certified Found family, our home on the web, our found family on the web. They're great. They're great. They get special little extras. We have a movie night with them every month. It's good times. It's just a good vibe all around. Yeah, we're on all social media. It's always at Certified Noonas. One word. You know? And you should join our free to join Discord full of only cool people. Because if they rude or mean, they get the boot. So we cultivate
had to boot anybody.
Because people know that we will do it. Okay, like
we're the gatekeepers.
Like, listen, we are the gatekeepers of good vibes over on Discord, so it's good vibes only. Anyway, thank you for listening to us. We will see you next week with a fresh, hot new episode. So, and as we always say before we go, especially with the air quality these days in North America, wear a mask, wash your hands, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.